Hey, you flock of doomers. It's Tuesday, January 3rd. I want to congratulate Below a happy birthday for still being alive and being subscribed to Moa's channel. It's rainy outside, and we're going to dip right back into a typical cold winter here. It's literally 65 degrees. Speaking of records were broken all over the world in various places for record high heats for New Year's. Just really extreme whiplashing. And we can see Paul Beckwith is back and going to be uploading soon. I personally think he's one of the best channels on YouTube. No one is as authentic and demonstrative of their knowledge and real about it than really anybody else. So that's how I feel. And I know things are bad. They're worse than bad. It's like everyone's gone crazy. Things are so expensive. Toilet paper is like $20, right? There was a tweet that went out in the past 24 hours and went viral because this lady, I assume she lives in California, paid like over $100 of groceries just for a few small things. The economy isn't working for us. It isn't working for us. If I thought 2020 and 2021 and 2022 was bad, brace yourselves. We have the full enchilada coming this year with higher than expected inflation, downturn, and El Nino later this year. A higher than 50% chance. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with El Nino by 2024. And how that does not exacerbate global tensions and fighting for resources is anyone's wonder. Like, how much longer do we pay $20 toilet paper or $100 oil changes? You know what I'm saying? So it's not just me. Prepper Lily and all these other prepper channels, are really sounding the alarm that this year is going to be a turbulent ride. I mean, seriously, how people make it with families is beyond me. Okay? Some of you want me to talk much more about economy as much as I focus on climate. So I'm just going to do that because I think this is a significant update. Back with climate and economy, Justin Panopticon, massive credit to him. January 3rd, today's roundup of economic news. Check this out. Money supply growth fell in November, and this time it turned negative for the first time in 33 years. Quote, it should be emphasized that it is not necessary for money supply growth to turn negative in order to trigger recessions, defaults, and other economic disruptions. With decades marked by Greenspan put, financial repression, and other forms of easy money, the Federal Reserve has inflated a number of bubbles and zombies enterprises that now rely on a nearly constant infusions of new money to stay afloat. For many of these bubble industries, all that is necessary is a slowing in money supply growth brought on by the interest rates of a confidence crisis. Now, I'm not going to go through and dismantle every word in this paragraphs I just read, but it doesn't sound pleasing. I get the general, message is that we let it get out of hand and we just pumped all this money, to keep like the airline industries and the banks. I mean, ever since I've been alive, it's been fraud. It's been a fraud. And meanwhile, people who work at pharmacies and grocery stores can't afford to buy, a house or maybe an electric car despite tax credits. Not that that would do any good by this point. Disappointment would only begin to describe the feeling I have. Okay, defaults on U.S. junk loans expected to climb as rate rise squeeze earnings. Deutsche Bank expects the default rate on leveraged loans in the U.S. to climb to 5.6% next year, up from 1.6%, before rising 11.3% in 2024. That would leave default close to an all-time high set in 2009. A strategist at UBS forecasts a default rate for low-grade loans at 9% in 2023 alone. So people are not going to be paying back their Walmart credit cards, and I guess that's the gist. And it may be one of the most anticipated recessions of all time, but that doesn't mean it won't hurt. From Bloomberg, Barclays Capital Inc. says 2023 will go down as one of the worst for the world economy in 4 decades. Ned Davis Research Inc. puts the odds of a severe global downturn at 65%. Fidelity International reckons a hard landing looks unavoidable. But what about that soft landing? How about a medium landing? Third of world economy hit by recession in 2023, IMF warns the new year is going to be tougher than the year we leave behind. IMF Managing Director Christina Georgieva, said on CBS Sunday Morning News programs face the nation on Sunday. Why? Because the 3 big economies, the US, EU, and China, are all slowing down simultaneously. UK faces worst and longest recession in G7, says economists. UK firms less likely to borrow money than any time since the financial crash. Sweden's swept by a major bankruptcy wave amid inflation. The Nordic countries entering a long-term recession that's expected to last until 2025, just in time for BOE. I hate to use the phrase, but too many clueless morons walking around. Lowy, I want to thank you getting my mind up to date on that. The Ministry of Finance says the Finnish economy will slide into recession until early 2023. That's for you, Jarko. Hold up strong. Keep dealing the drugs. Italy is the Eurozone country most susceptible to a debt crisis as European central banks raise interest rates and buys fewer bonds, etc., etc. Hong Kong home sales drop to lowest level. Don't expect Asia to save the global economy in 2023. Sri Lanka's cancer patients struggle amid the country's economic chaos. Pakistan's a crippling gas crisis this winter. Rationing fuel. You think you have it bad? Imagine you can't even cook your breakfast. Impact of Iraq protests on oil sector of Iraq. Don't really care. Oil's killing us all. No respite for Nigerians as fuel scarcity increases. Blackouts worsen in South Africa. Bolivian farm regions block borders. Grain transport and protest leads to clashes. And last but not least, UN warns of Haiti on the verge of the abyss. Quote, it's hard to overstate the extent in which the security situation in Haiti has collapsed. Never been there. Kind of wanted to go for a vacation in my life earlier, but now that's totally out of the question. Practically nowhere in the capital, Port-au-Prince, seemed safe. Rival gangs fight over territory, terrorizing increasingly desperate citizens are already struggling to survive in a humanitarian catastrophe. Just an absolute disaster. And I think of it here in the States as insulated as we may feel we are, despite paying 100% increase in record, like inflation since the beginning of the pandemic. Everything has gone up almost twice, like 100% in my notice. There's maybe some things that stayed level, but most things are really expensive. What I'm curious about as a sociologist is someone who studies interaction of groups of people and humanity over time and cultures and how they interact, is how our social cohesion, the social trust, how we managed to keep this going for so long. Walmart has like record high, since they implemented self-checkout, people are stealing left and right. And that's to a corporation. At what point do we start turning on each other because things get so expensive? I think that's an image that all of us play in our minds. And I guess that leads me to the conversation of what it means to be a doomer. I'm probably going to make a whole separate video analyzing this, but this has been sort of the topic of discussion for the past several years. The term doomer implies, negativity, give up, accept failure. In our nature is indifferent. The natural world doesn't care about positive or negative. It doesn't have feelings. The universe is indifferent. So being a doomer is being a realist and accepting the finality of the situation, that we are indefinitely screwed. At some point in the next 10 to 20 years, human race will dwindle down to just pockets of people and then potentially no one left. Okay? That's what being a doomer is. How you proceed to manage your life is a matter of personal preference. For instance, some might suppose you should participate in things that grow and nurture your local community and wildlife. And sure, that's like, it's preference. That's all it is. It's like, what do you put in your tea? Do you like it sweet or, with cream and sugar, French vanilla, some syrup. What do you want? How do you want it to taste? That's up to preference. There's not a set of requirements. Oh, you're a doomer. You have to do this and this. It's really simply understanding that the situation we're in is completely fucked, and we're exponentially breaking down all of the systems. Exponential is a concept most people, even smart people, can't seem to understand. Am I wanting everyone to be a doomer? No, I want everyone to realize the reality of the situation. Andrew Huberman and this monk and all these people that sensei so and so and all these trending characters on YouTube. They're just blah blahing about day-to-day bullshit. Like, sure, some of it, however exciting it is to find out new scientific information about how the brain works, how to best optimize health and performance, none of that means dick all when there's nothing fucking left. And that's the part that sickens me, that I have to comment on all these videos, is like, everyone will be dead by 2040, or wish you were dead. It's going to be so horrible. And yet we want to figure out, what protein synthesis is responsible for neurotic thoughts, or, just pick a subject. How we perceive colors in plants. Like, we know that. We know a lot about, we've made such huge significant, the rods and cones in our eyes. What I'm saying is we made such huge significant advances in our understanding of the human biology and nature, but all of it's going to be buried in the ground. So it sounds ridiculous. I went off on a tangent here. This year is going to be rough. It's going to be rough for the economy, for the climate, and I can't keep this program going without you guys' support. So I turned on super thanks below. I'm not sure. I think I get all the proceeds from that. But if you just want to be safe, go to the PayPal donation link. I know everyone is struggling, but just a few dollars helps me keep reporting, and us all in a cohesion, a safe place where you can come to and express how you feel. Thanks again, Doomers. I'll talk to you later. Peace.